Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Princess Janet, and if this is your first time watching my video, don't forget to subscribe. And to my existing subscribers, thank you guys for subscribing. I really love you. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to also like this video and comment and share. Thank you so much. And today I'm going to be talking about Canada relocation, how to relocate to Canada as a permanent resident. So stay tuned. So welcome back. So relocating to Canada from UK or from anywhere in the world, there are different routes of relocating to Canada as a permanent resident. And there are other ways too you can relocate to Canada, through study route, through getting a job and other legitimate means. But today I'm just going to be talking about permanent residence, how you can relocate to Canada as a permanent resident. So you apply from your home country and then you come into Canada and you become, a permanent resident. And this you can do from anywhere, like anywhere. So some people feel like it's easier for you to relocate from UK to Canada, for example. For me, I'll say there's no difference because your certificate in UK does not really add anything to your points. It's not different from your Nigerian certificate unless you are going for a higher degree, so to say. And if you also go for a higher degree in Nigeria, it's also recognizable as far as you went to a school that is recognizable. So that is it. So you can relocate to Canada as a permanent resident from Nigeria, from UK, from anywhere. So there are a lot of routes, like I said, for permanent residents. So I'll be talking on the ones that I know. Mainly there are two means, two main means of locating as a permanent resident in Canada. That is the express entry program, and then we have the provincial nomination program. And then the express entry program is also divided into like three. We have the federal skilled worker program, and then we have the Canadian experience class, and then we have the federal skilled trade program. Okay, I really don't know much about the federal skilled program, but I know it's for those that don't really have like an academic degree or qualification. You don't have a PhD, master's, and all that, but you have a skill. You're a plumber, you're a mechanic, you're a seamstress. All those kind of skills that you think are not useful. There are some skills that are wanted and they need them here in Canada. So there are people that come through that program using those skills that they have. But you won't just say you have a skill without having something to prove for it. You also have a certificate that proves that yes, you do have the skills, stuff or things like that. But for the federal skilled worker program, which was the one that we did, for that, you're going to be, using your certificate, your degree, and each degree have different points. So some have a BSc and a master's will have an additional point. I think you have additional 10 points. For masters, you have additional 15 points for PhD and like that. So those three methods. And then the third one is the Canadian experience class. And that one is basically for people that are already in Canada and they already have the work experience in Canada or they schooled in Canada. So these are added advantage for them. And it's also like a different class, a different program. But all the three together is the express entry, and they all enter what we call the pool, the express entry pool, where you submit your application and then you wait for the draw, the express entry draw, which is normally done like approximately every 2 weeks, all things being equal, approximately every 2 weeks. But sometimes Canada might stop it, and that is very annoying. Like they just stop the draw sometimes without no notification, no announcement, nothing. They just stop and they'll stop. And you'll start wondering what happened, when will the next job be, and they will not make any announcement until they are ready again, to start all over. And they'll pick up from wherever they start. So, and then the second main method of applying for Canada permanent residence is through the provincial nomination. So the province is like states that we have in Nigeria. So we have different province, and each province and also nominate you. And the nomination or the application is also, you submit your application online, you submit it, and it's also point based. So depending on your points, they will, invite people to submit, like, what do they call it now? EOI, expression of expression of interest. I'm not sure, don't quote me. Expression of interest. So they will invite you, and then you apply, you pay some application fee and like that. So each province have their what provincial nomination program, and they have different criteria for that. And mainly what gives you a higher chance for the provincial nomination is your how would I call it, your work. Like if um your work is on the shortage list, is if your experience is something that they want in that province. So each province have different, shortage list. So if your work experience happens to be in that province shortage list, and then all things being equal to your points is high, you have a higher chance of being invited by that province. And when you're invited by that province, you have 600 points that will be added to your overall points in the express entry pool. Okay, so the express entry pool contains all the three that I've mentioned: the federal skill, the CEC, and the federal skill trade. And then people that are nominated for the provincial nomination will also enter the pool. And the pool, they invite the highest points, people with the highest point, just like having 1,000 people in an online pool, and they want just 200 out of that. So they select the first 200 from that pool. So the higher your point, the higher your chances of being selected. And the overall point for the application or for the process is 1,200. 1,200. And you can calculate that using the CRS calculator. So it's online. I'll drop it in the description so you can calculate the points that you will have and simulate it based on, the criteria that I use to calculate those points include your age. If you're under 30, you have the highest maximum point for age. I think that is 110, out of 1,200. If you have BSc, you get a point. I don't know how many points now. If you have masters, you have 10 additional points. If you have HND and PGD, it's equivalent to like having BSc and masters too. If you have PhD, 15 additional points. Then you will write an English test. And the higher your score in that test, the higher your points too. So the English test have like 4 different categories: the writing, speaking, then the reading, and the listening. And we have 9 bands. So the higher your band, the higher your points too. So if you can get like 8 in all those, listening parts and the other ones, then your score will be high for the permanent residence too. And if you also know French, like you can speak French, you're very good in French, there is also a French test that also had additional points to your point. People are going to learn French from scratch because of this. Like they go learn French because they want to write the test, they want to have more points. So these are some of the things that will add more points to you. Then if you have a family member in Canada already that is a permanent resident or a citizen, you get additional, is it 15 points? I think 15 points because you have a family here. And also for the provincial nomination, there's some province too that gives, preference to people that have families, siblings, sometimes even friend. I think Manitoba province, if you have a friend can, nominate you. That's okay, I know this person, and that will add some points to your overall points. So having a family also had some points to your score. Then for the CEC, which is the Canadian Experience class, for those that studied in Canada and have work experience in Canada, that also had an additional point to their score. So that is the advantage of, for those that are already in Canada. But if you're not in Canada, you can still have a high score based on all these, criteria. The younger you are, the better. The more degree, the better. The more band you have in your high health, the better If you're bilingual, the better too. So all this adds up together to give you 1,200 points. So, like I said, if you have provincial nomination, you've been nominated by a province, that is already 600 out of 1,200. It's like automatically the next draw, you'll be invited to apply for permanent residence. Almost like automatically once you have a provincial nomination. But for provincial nomination, the difference between provincial nomination and the other express entry program is that when you're nominated by a province and when you apply and the application is successful, when you're landing in Canada, you will have to, land in the province that nominated you. So if Ontario nominated you, for example, then you will land in Ontario. Some people said you have to live there for 2 years before you can move, and some said you don't have to. I don't really know about that. If you are coming to provincial nomination, you might, have to research and know the right information about that. But then that is that for provincial nomination. And then after, I would say if you want to start afresh for applying for Canada Permanent Residency, number one thing to do is, go to the CRS calculator. It's online. I'll be dropping the link. Calculate your score. You will need to simulate the English test, like just put a number, like have an idea. Okay, if I have 8777, that is if I have 8 in listening and 7 in the rest of the test, what will my score be? If I have 777, what will my score be? What if it's 6 that I have? What if I have 8 or 9? So you can just simulate, and that can even help you to prepare for the test. And like, okay, I need to be able to get this score. I'm looking towards getting this score. So to give you an idea of what your score will be over 1,200, and then you can go online to check the current score for the last draw. That is the minimum score that was invited to apply for Canada Permanent Residence. I'm not sure what the score is right now, but I think it's around 480 something or so. So you will see and say, okay, yeah, my score is close to this. Maybe your score is around 480 or 475. There is still hope. The score can still drop depending, and it can increase depending. Nothing is guaranteed. But then you can now start other things. For me, I would advise people, if you are starting afresh, after you've calculated your score and all that, number 2 thing you need to do is to get your transcript and evaluate it. You have to evaluate your transcripts. There are different organizations that do it. We have WES, we have, is it HiCast now? Yes. And there are some organizations that are best for some profession. So I've heard that lawyers is good to evaluate their their degree and their law school with ICAS compared to WES and stuff like that. So you need to find out which organization is the best for you to evaluate your degree with. For me, I use WES. So you need to apply for your transcript in your school, and this takes a lot of time, especially if you have a school that is very slow in processing transcript, or if it is your first time you want to collect your transcript, you've not collected it before, it may take a long time. So it's better you start as fast as possible. Collect your transcript. The school will send the transcript to WES. You pay for the evaluation about 200 US dollars, and then the WES will send an email and also a hard copy to the school to be able to confirm that yes, this is really coming from the school. So there'll be some back and forth, and then after like, is it 6 weeks now, your evaluation will be completed, and they will tell you, okay, your BSc is equivalent to Canadian BSc. Then that is what you will be able to use to apply for permanent residence. There will be a code that WES will give you that you will input into the application online when you want to submit your application into the express entry pool. And if you want to evaluate your transcript, before, when we did ours, we evaluated all the degree, WAEG, BSc, MSc, and all that. But now, all you need is to evaluate your highest degree. If PhD is your highest degree, all you need to evaluate is your PhD. If master's is your highest degree, all you need to evaluate is your master's degree, and so forth and so on. So after that, the next thing is to be preparing for your English test. Prepare very well and ace it. You can ace the test on first try. And even if you don't ace it on first try, keep doing it until you get the maximum score that will make your points to be high and give you the high chance of being invited as quickly as possible. So those are the two things that you need to do. And apart from that, okay, the third one is to have money, because you need a certain amount of money in your account. If you are a family of one, that is, you're just a single person, you need, like, the last time I checked, it was around, I don't know the exchange rate right now, but around 4 million naira for one person. For two-person, like 5.6 million to 6 million naira. I will also drop the link for that so I can see the amount in Canadian dollar and then convert that to naira or whatever currency you're using. So you must have that amount also in your account, which shows that yes, you have the funds to be able, to settle down in Canada. You need to show that proof of fund, and it has to be in your account. It's not that you submitted your application today, you're invited to apply maybe in a month's time, and then after you were invited, you just arrange one bank account and go submit. No, the proof of fund must have been there for like 6 months, 6 month bank statement. And if it has not been there for like 6 months, if it's maybe you're selling a property, you're selling your land, your house, your car, or whatever, and then you're just putting the money in bulk into your account, to show your proof of fund, all you need to do is to be able to explain it. You write a letter of explanation and include it in your application, and tell the officer, the visa officer, or whosoever is, evaluating your application, and say, okay, I sold so. You can even put the receipt, the proof that this is what you sold, which is your property, and you're using it for proof of fund. And then your parents can also give you, you can say your parents gave you money. Your parents can give you money and say, okay, my son or my daughter is traveling out. I want to help a relocation or his relocation dream. So I'm giving him 10 million naira. So you have to write, like, your parents will have to write like a letter, like a gift of deed, that okay, I'm giving him this money and I'm not going to collect it back. It's a gift, freely given, blah blah blah. And then you can use that for your proof of fund. So if you have your money, you have your ways, you have your English test, you're good to go. Then you can apply. And this you can do from anywhere in the world. You can do your West from anywhere. You can do your high from anywhere. And then if you want to write English test too, that's also that will take a little time, especially if you don't know French before. But for people that already know French, they will just need a little time to prepare and do the test and also ace it. So that is that. So when you have all those documents prepared, then you can apply and wait to be invited. So when you're not invited, you pay application fee. I can't remember the amount now. And then you submit, and then the waiting starts. It takes like approximately 6 months to 24 months for the application to be, finalized. Yeah. And I've seen people that it took less than 3 months. There are some people that are lucky. And I've seen people that it took 18 months, 24 months. There are people that applied since 2019 and they just got it last year. So it depends. Depends. Just be hopeful. Keep something about Canada application. Any of the application is like to teach you patience. You have to be patient, and you don't need to put your life on hold. Keep living your life as you are planning everything, and just wait for the magic to happen, for God's grace to work for you. So that is it. And I don't know if I'm leaving anything out. I can't remember anything else for the application right now. I think that is all. If you are invited to apply for the permanent residence, there are other stuff that they will need to get from you. You will need to submit, the West, you scan the West. You will need to scan your high heads to them, give them the bank statements. You will need police reports of every country that you have stayed for more than 6 months. You will also need a medical report. Yeah, you will do a medical test that will show that yes, you're medically fit rather to come to Canada, because they don't want liabilities, so to say. So I think that was all that was submitted. Proof of fund, medical test, police report, West, Hyatt. If you're married, your marriage certificate. If you have children, you submit their birth certificate. You also do medical tests. And if you're applying for the permanent residence, you can come with your wife, you can apply with your wife and your children. The only thing is the more the family, the number of family, the more money you need to put in your proof of fund. The more the merrier. All of you can come. You're all wanted. So that is it for me today. So for everyone that was asking me to do a video about this is it. And if you have any question that I was not able to cover, that you want me to expatiate more on, just drop it in the comments and I will answer it. If it's something short, I will answer it with a reply. And if it's something that I need to make a video on, then I will get right back to you guys with another video. So thank you for watching. If this is your first time and you watch to the end, this is a sign for you to click that subscribe button. It doesn't bite. Thank you. Thank you so much. And see you guys next time. Bye.